I would like to call this board meeting to order and thank everyone who is here tonight or who is taking the time to listen in. I do need an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, we have Evan Guthrie. I need a second. Brian Mitchum. Do we have any discussion? All in favor? That is 6 and 1 absent. And now we have a moment of reflections and pledge allegiance with Evan Guthrie.
All right. So as we head back to start the school year, for all the students coming back, I just want to take a moment and ask for blessings of health and make sure everybody gets back to the right way as far as the school year goes, and ask for the strength, wisdom, guidance, and courage to do what's in the best interest of all the students in this district. And then just a quick moment of silence. All right. We'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Guthrie. We do not have any public comments on agenda items, so I will move down to approval of minutes for the regular meeting of July 25th. I'll need a motion for that.
A second.
Okay, Barbara Crosby made the motion and Evan Guthrie second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. 6 approve and 1 absent. I guess it's my turn, taking the place of Gail, who is having her annual vacation out of the country. We hope she's having a good time. I just want to welcome our new employees, and I hope you feel the hospitality that District 2 is known for, and I'm sure you're going to come to love District 2 as a family, and we're glad that you're here with us. We also want you to know how excited we are for convocation tomorrow. The board is anxious to see all the things that we're hearing about and looking forward to it. And the other thing we are excited about is it sounds like East Edisto is going to open on time, and I know that Dr. Robbins probably already has that in the superintendent's report, but I think that's all we have, so I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Madam Chair, members of the board. Good evening. Happy Monday. Tell you it was a very busy Monday, but you can tell that we're getting close to the opening day of the school year. We're very excited about that. I just want to give you some bullet points here just real quickly. First, just a quick summary of the Administrator Symposium that we had last week. We had about 170 district administrators, assistant principals, directors, coordinators, you name it, all in one location, preparing and planning for the school year. A lot of good work took place. It was a long day. I think we started about 9 o'clock in the morning, finished at 5. Team building activities and really trying to look at the things that we do well in the district and the things that as administrators and members of this team they think we can improve upon, and then suggestions. And Mr. Doherty, our deputy superintendent, has been compiling all that information. Once we get it compiled, we'll share it with you. And the goal is to then synchronize that with the ideas for goals that you all have as a board to look to see what would be the most important things for us to do in the next course of the next 3 years for our Dorchester 2. So we're excited about that. You mentioned the opening day convocation is tomorrow. Dr. Wilson has done an amazing job putting the logistics together for that. It's not been any easy feat. I've always taken it for granted, but I will say this: he organizes, and he's kept me in check, making sure that we've got things dressed right, and things are perfect tomorrow when our staff come back. It's a very important event. It's a little bit of rah-rah. It's designed to be. It's also an opportunity for me as the new superintendent to share with the entire staff of Team Dorchester my vision and my philosophy, much like what I've shared with you all on multiple occasions. We have some exciting things that are going to take place towards the end of the program. We have, I think, 4 different student groups that are going to present. Really appreciate Jason Ward organizing that for us to get different students out in front of our staff and perform. And I will tell you, I was at the Coliseum today when they were doing their sound checks, and I'm very amazed and impressed with some of the performers we have. And I think it's going to be fun for our staff, and it's definitely going to be fun for our students. It's probably the biggest crowd many of them are going to perform in front of. And so it's an exciting time to do those things and kick off the new school year. One of the things that's going to be the theme is safety. We will talk about safety tomorrow. We have nearly 26,000 students and over 3,000 employees that we're responsible for, and we don't take that lightly. And so we're going to talk about, staying true to our protocols and making sure that we're doing everything we can to mitigate risk. The other thing I was going to share with you all tonight is we did talk about board docs in our board workshop, and Lee has done a great job of working with board docs to get that system ready and in place. And the goal is for that to be up and running the first board meeting in September for you all. There will be a little bit of training that takes place, and it's possible what we may do is have you come in a little early that board meeting and provide you with that training. You already use something very similar. This is just a more transparent and robust way of managing board meetings and minutes, the agendas and all that information. There's 3 levels that we can make available. That's the executive level, the admin level, and then the public level in terms of visibility. So hopefully it'll be good for our community to see that. And then it's archivable so that they can always go to the website and easily access it in the future. So we're looking forward to that as a tool that we use. A majority of the districts in the state and across the country actually use board docs, so it'll be very good for you all, I'm hopeful. So for me, that's all I have in terms of my superintendent's report, pending any questions from members of the board. Awesome. All right. Well, I would invite our executive director of the Dorchester Education Foundation to come up. I know he had a few things he wanted to share as well. So, Ralph. I got you. I'll slow to the click.
Thank you, Superintendent Robbins, Ms. Robinson, members of the board. Really excited to be here tonight. As many people know, this past spring, the foundation worked in partnership with DD2 to establish the first scholarship fund that is going to be housed and administered by the foundation. This is a very common process for a lot of other foundations throughout the country, but we were excited to onboard that into our portfolio. What we did was we worked with the district to honor our outgoing superintendent, Mr. Pye, but more so than just that and the outgoing, we're looking at the incoming. This scholarship will be awarded each year to a DD2 graduate with the intent of pursuing a degree in education, and it really signifies the stability and dedication of serving others through education, which Dorchester District 2 is known for. When I started talking to different partners to look at people to be engaged with us and involved with us for helping with the scholarship fund, I started some conversations with Larry and Rebecca Collette, who have a foundation. Their foundation specifically happens to align very closely with ours in that they focus on leadership and education as well as faith. Through those conversations, we were trying to find meaningful ways that they could support the initiatives that we were going to do so that we could collaboratively make a greater impact than we could individually. One of the neat things with the Collette Foundation is they actually do a lot of other good in our schools already through gifts of happiness and other things that they've been delivering directly to schools throughout this past school year. But in speaking with them, we did decide to work out to where they were going to be a contributor to the scholarship fund, and we're going to give that scholarship out each year. Those funds are going to go with our other funds, and they have graciously donated a total of $37,500 to be distributed over the next 10 years. What that does is that allows continuity and stability and ensures that this scholarship lasts. I have a second grade daughter who is at Somerville Elementary. I have a 2-year-old son. And because of the generosity of partners like Larry and Rebecca, I'm very confident there will be students who are their age and younger who will still get a scholarship at that time. And it's just really humbling to know that there's people in the community who want to support the efforts, who want our students to succeed, and hopefully, importantly for us, those students to go into a career in education, come back, and continue to impact others. So I'd love to bring Larry up if he has anything to say, or maybe grab a photo shot real quick if we could do that.
Yeah.
Want to say anything? Okay. Thank you, Dr.
So that's what your surprise was. That's a big wow. We don't get that every day. Thank you very much. And I know we'll be good stewards of it. Okay. We have a policy committee that is going to, no? Yes?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh,
No,
you're not.
Cabinet report.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So, Tony? Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's okay. This is important.
Good evening, Ms. Robbins. Members of the board, Dr. Robbins. I'm happy to report that 4:30 on Monday afternoon last week, we received a verbal certificate of occupancy from East Edisto Middle School. There are some things we're working out. I just got an email 3 minutes ago that to assure me that the internet and Wi-Fi would be operational by mid-morning tomorrow. And the stress continues. But other than that, everything is going fine out there. There's, the usual post-construction, we need to change this, we need a new outlet here, we need another switch here, that type of thing. And that we've got the punch list ongoing from the architects. They're working on their punch list. I saw the mechanical engineer there today. He was doing his punch list, and I've got my own I'm working on. So things are wrapping up in the construction end of it. Well, the building is, Miss Grice today, she said it looked like somebody kicked an anthill out there today. And that was the teachers were there, they were setting up their classrooms, and it was just, it was almost like another construction day, except today we had actual teachers and administrators in the building, and they were the focal point of activity today. The HVAC update at Raleigh Middle School, the Performing Arts Center, we had an issue with some HVAC equipment. That piece of HVAC equipment is actually multiple pieces of HVAC equipment. There was it's a huge dedicated outdoor air unit that is coupled with an IntelliPack, a trained IntelliPack for cooling the balcony area of that unit, and it's been giving us problems for about 2 months. Maybe 2.5, 3 months. But we worked with the train company, we worked with CMI, and we brought in an outside contractor, CR HIP, and through a collective effort, we came up with what the problem was. We actually found the guy that commissioned the unit from several years ago when we brought the building online, and he came in and troubleshot everything. We ordered some parts. There's still some parts outstanding, and so, but the issues that we were having a few months ago, all that has leveled out right now. But just as I say with any piece of electromechanical equipment, there's always tomorrow. So if anybody lives in a home and you have an air conditioner, you understand what I'm talking about. You're at the mercy of the HVAC guy at that point. The gym renovation, we had some meetings, and we just wanted to make sure that we were going to do the right thing with that money. We had about a $1.8 million budget for that building, and we took a step back, looked at it, and thought, you know what, we probably got something we can spend that money on in a better way. We are still going to do the renovation for the team room on the back of the gym. Mm-hmm. We're still going to do the electrical upgrade in there and the plumbing upgrade for if we ever want to upgrade that building or upfit it for office space, we already have the infrastructure in place. All we have to do is go in and build offices at that point. So we're going to go ahead and do all that forward expensive stuff up front. We're not going to do the HVAC for the whole gym. That was the tipping point of that thing, because it was in the construction world, HVAC equipment is somewhere around 40-50% of your cost on a renovation of that type. So it was a good decision we made, and I think we beat that dog to death trying to figure out exactly what we wanted to do, but we came to that conclusion.
You know, if I could add, I had a really good meeting with Tony and Tina about that. And what we wanted to do is look and see if we couldn't find ways to acquire office space in the short term and have a little less of an expense so that we could do other things, including other HVAC needs that we have in other buildings. And that's there, and Tony's recommendation was great to put the infrastructure there if and when we want to, but let's look and see what other office space we have first before we put $1.8 million into that structure. And so I think we have a good, fiscally responsible plan.
Any questions for me?
Yeah, I'm just going to say thank you again. What a summer, and not easy. I've been through a lot of construction projects, and I'm just going to tell you, you and your team really are responsible for a lot of that. It's relationships, and we all know what OSF can be like, and the fire chief and some of those folks, and that had a big part of us being able to get that CO with just a little bit of response. So you just make sure that your team knows from all of us, thank you, that we're going to be able to start out the school year with those kids in that building.
I've been promising for 16 months that we would get that building turned over on my birthday, and today is that day. Happy birthday to me.
Tony, can I ask you a quick question? And other people may have questions too. This went so smooth, and of course we attribute a lot of it, you're the leader, and it's a team effort, we know, but do you think it's because we use CM at risk, or?
Absolutely. If whatever the next time looks like, it needs to begin with a conversation of CM at risk and go that route for our procurement, because that set the standard, in my opinion. You pick your contractor, then that whole process of selecting the contractor, selecting the architect, that was a very rigorous process. We had so many fantastic construction companies submit their proposals, and that was a tough thing to do. And so when you get your contractor on board, and you got the contractor and an architect working together, formulating what it is you want in the end product, and when they work together on the front end, that reduces a lot of stress in the construction end. And the great thing about CM at risk is also what we call a GMP, a guaranteed maximum price. This job was done on budget and on time during the pandemic. That speaks volumes about what was done in the past 2 years.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
Tony, I agree, because just the company that we had do it, I guess it's okay to say the name, right? Thompson Turner.
Yes, ma'am.
Their reputation, we've gotten to know them over the years on work they've done, and their reputation stood for a lot. We respected that, and they stood by their word.
Yes,
and we
ma'am.
appreciate that with your guidance.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on the East Edisto bandwagon. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
29 doesn't make sense for a man. 30, happy 30th.
The years have been good to me. It was the deployments that did the damage.
East Edisto, and I will tell you, I feel very attached to that, that program and that building. You know, I think if we rewound 2 years ago, pie in the sky as a board, I think if you asked any of us, would that ever happen, we would have said, not a chance, not a chance. And the stars started aligning. We saw the need years ago. We knew we needed a middle school to help alleviate the overcrowding. And I think it was in passing, Tina, I don't even remember where it was. I just remember in passing one day, and there were a few of us that had some conversations, and we said, you know, we're probably going to need a middle school. You got any money for that? She laughed like she did just now, and we kind of kept it going, but not really. And then all of a sudden, we got some impact fees, and we knew that we needed to move pretty quickly. And as a board, I'm just proud of the leadership, as a district to move forward with that, because it really is. I don't know that folks truly understand the impact, the shift that's going to make for DeBose, for Greg, the new middle school. You know, I saw the teachers moving in today. My son's scout troop was one of the ones. They were there over the weekend today helping to move stuff in. The excitement when you build a new middle school and you open it and you get folks in there, and then to be able to say, because 16 months ago, if you said you're going to open the school August 8th, August 9th, I probably would have laughed in your face. And here we are. It is pretty amazing. It's unbelievable. So that is a testament. Tony, your team, Thompson Turner, their team, just everybody that's been involved in that project. Just an unbelievable project. So again, thank you for all you do, and I'm excited to see all the success at East Edisto. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Just one other comment. We need to sit down and start scheduling the ribbon cutting ceremony.
I was talking to Mr. Rutherford about that today, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Are you finished?
Yeah, one more. So we can adjourn to executive session, or I have just one personnel recommendation for the board's consideration tonight.
Okay. Well, do you have for policy committee, do you have anything? And then we can move right into that.
Maybe. Super short and sweet. I think, Lee, do you have a slide for me? Thank you. So just putting up what we're looking at for our future policy committee meetings now that we're starting into our new school year. So I just wanted to put those up, and then these will, of course, be published on the website. I'm looking at Matthew. Where'd he go? He did move. Got you in your seat. So that will be on the website, but please feel free to attend those. We'll put information out about those meetings as they get closer. So any questions on policy committee meeting dates?
Do you have the times yet? Or
We don't.
Okay.
We
That's
don't.
okay. Just wondered.
Thank you.
You bet. And we do have just two, it's just two of our public comment report, our minute speakers. Jason Brockett, would you like to come up for your 3 minutes?
Hey, good evening, Dr. Robbins, DD2 board. It's been a while since I've been up here. So let me give you a little perspective from what I as a parent can find. I know I've said this several times. I'm actually, Dr. Robbins, when you mentioned board docs coming up, seeing that we don't know what the groundwork, what that looks like, I really hope that it's going to be significantly better than what we've seen. So I have high hopes for that. As a parent, being on summer vacation and life throwing things that it will at you and having to deal with stuff and not really being involved. And here we come back into our school year, so I'm trying to get re-involved and see what I've maybe missed in the past couple of meetings. And what I was a little bit disappointed to find, the policy committee, the readings, so the first reading, without actually having the policies directly available, I know we've asked before, it would be really good to have a marked up PDF that says this is what the policy was and here's the edits and here's what we're looking to change, because for somebody that doesn't have the ability to print these things out and look at these side by side or have multiple screens available to them, it's not easy to do. I have those things available. It's still not easy to do. It's very time consuming. But it's a lot of work to go through there and actually see what is being talked about. So I listened to the recordings from the meetings. And the recordings from the meetings were largely bereft of detail. And usually Mr. Farnsworth is pretty good about stating some details, but over and over again I heard there's nothing earth-shattering in here. There's not a lot of substance to go off of for a parent trying to find out what was being discussed. There was a lot of back and forth about removal of policy ADD. I'm not going to beat that dead horse. Things are what they are. I hope that we don't have more mandates because those are increasingly divisive, and with the policy removed, it would have been, in my opinion, better to revise it to make it less COVID-19 specific, whatever comes. Because if we end up with a best practice that the health board is recommending that we do, and we decide that there are things happening in our local community that we would like to do to try to protect our schools from shutting down again, that doesn't exist. We wait to be told by the state what we are mandated to do, which sparks debate in the community, and everybody's at each other's throats. So rather than history repeating itself, I would kind of like to see, and I know I've said this before, that there's a good plan for what happens next. Now, we're not currently in anything bad. We're not currently in anything great either. And we're not living in Japan right now, so that's good. But the future is not exactly set. So please make sure that we've got some good plans, some good transparency, and make sure that parents can stay involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brockett. And now we'll hear from Mr. Philip Hall.
I would like to start off first by saying it's great to see a full board, as it should have always been, and to welcome with open arms our new and well past due superintendent, Dr. Robbins. I'm here tonight for several reasons. First and foremost, to clear my name. First, as many of you know, after applauding at a board meeting last year, I was ordered to leave by the chair of this board and to be given a no trespass letter by the local police department. Not once, but twice. However, because they refused to write me one, that wasn't enough. She decided to take it upon herself to write me a no trespass, not for a day or a week, but for the remainder of the school year. The accusations in the no trespass were absolutely false, because if they were true, I would have been arrested. I and my family were clearly targeted because we call it the hypocrisy of all but one of these board members, starting with the chair. Just to let everyone know a little about me and my family, I'm a retired Air Force combat veteran. My wife is prior Air Force. Between the two of us, we hold 5 degrees, and we are both still serving our country. We have spent our adult life serving our country. We have 3 children in the district. Their education has always come first and will continue to do so. My wife and I were the first parents to begin coming to the school in the fall of 2020. I'm telling you all this because if she was able to do this to me, there's a chance she can do it to another family. Because of her direct actions, both my wife and I were threatened. We were called horrific names, and our livelihoods were even threatened. I served so others could serve, yet I was silenced, so others could speak freely. Again, this should never be allowed to happen to any other parent, no matter what side you are on of the issue. And we as a community must demand it never happens. For the first time in a very long time, I have hope for this district. I do believe our new superintendent will ensure that this never happens again to children or parents. Previously, Mr. Pye would not even return my calls, let alone give me a meeting. Yet it took me one call to call Dr. Robbins, and the next day I was in a face-to-face meeting with him, which was first class in my book. The meeting went well beyond my expectations. It was 2 fathers just talking about what's best for our children. I believe Dr. Robbins is generally a good man and father who truly wants the best for this district, including the parents, the good teachers, and most importantly, the children. I thank you generally for the meeting. Finally, there is an election coming this November. We must remind voters to do your research and see who voted against the parents and children of this district, who voted for mandates, who locked parents out of meetings, who had parents wanted in search as though we were prisoners when we were coming to advocate on behalf of our children. We cannot let voters vote for people just because they've seen them on the ballot before. We must make true change this November and make DD2 #1 again. We must replace board members with people like my great neighbor and friend, Kelly Bates, and Erica Miller, and others who are fighting hard, like Mr. Tupper and Mr. Unger, on behalf of our children, and come together as a community to ensure Ellen Weaver is elected as state superintendent. At least Ellis comes nowhere near our children. Thank you for your time and for not interrupting me, which is actually refreshing. And I look forward to working hard for the remainder of this year, helping our district get back to where we belong, which is the best districts in our state. Thank you again, Dr. Robbins, and always great to see you, Ms. Crosby.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. We do not find it necessary to go into executive session, so if I have a motion for someone to adjourn our meeting, we can do so.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it on here.
Motion withdrawn, yeah.
Okay, we'll let it, thank you, Ms. Ashley. We do need to approve our personnel changes, hires, or those who are resigning. So do I have a motion to accept that?
Motion to adjourn to executive session.
We don't need to go into executive session. We already had the personnel report, but we need to approve it or not. So I need a motion. Okay.
And I second.
Okay, we have the motion by Miss Ashley Wimberly and the second by Miss Crosby. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Okay, that's 6 and 1 absent. Now we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A second? Mr. by the hair, okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. 6 and 1 absent. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.